So do you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll just make it a big screen. Yeah. So what I was planning to do was to have the Edgar Cayce books. Most of them, or nearly all of them, are in PDF format, so we can all have a copy. And the first one that we can use is the Meditation Gateway to Light by Elsie Sechrist. And this is the contents, but you can see that it's not a very long book. It only has like the number one is the free necessities for meditation, which is sincerity, enthusiasm, perseverance, and then the preparation, which is physical, mental, and physical, and then number 3 and 4 and 5, it goes through all the spiritual centers, and then number 6, rewards of meditation in dreams and visions, and number 8, an Edgar Cayce reading, and then number 9, prayer. So that's one book we can use. And then the next book is Healing Through Meditation and Prayer by Meredith Ann Puryear. I think she was married to Herb Puryear, and then she passed away.
It's interesting that both Elsie and Meredith Ann, Elsie stayed with me when I was living down at Ocean Grove.
Okay.
My husband came to Australia, and Meredith Ann came and stayed here in Creswick with Maria and I when she came to Australia. So the first 2 people you've chosen have actually stayed at my house.
Yeah, we'll go for it. But I was thinking that we can do presentations instead of reading these 2 books, chapter by chapter or paragraph. We can do just one of us can just do a presentation on each chapter, maybe in summary format. And that way, you enjoy it more because someone's done the hard reading and then summarized it and presented. And I was thinking our presentations can be short, so 2 or 3 people can do presentations, say 10 minutes, 15 minutes for one chapter. Or like, for example, the spiritual centers, we sort of basically have an idea of what those 7 spiritual centers are, but maybe summarize the book, what they're sort of presenting. Yeah, so this is a good book as well, but it focused more on the healing side of it and the 281 group readings. So I have the PDF form for this one as well and the previous one. Oh, sorry, I don't have the PDF for Gateway to Light, so I'm gonna try and create a PDF for that one.
Good.
Yeah, so that's 2 books, and I can sort of summarize it and help maybe whoever wants to do presentation or work together, like we're still open to discussion. So, for example, number 3, prayer is not a technique. So that's an interesting topic. So we want to know more what Meredith is trying to explain about prayer. And the other thing I noticed that these 2 books was more Christ-based at that time. And so there's a lot of Bible quotes in it as well. So still Bible focused.
I think she ran the Glad Helpers for quite a while.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Yeah. Yeah, so those 2 books already. There's sort of not maybe just above 100 pages, so not very long. And then the 3rd one is by Mark Thurston and Herb Puryear. This one is a little bit harder to read and understand, but Yeah, so someone could summarize all these 3 books as well. Then we go to the bigger books. This was when EDGAR CAYCE was the editor. So this is a complete book by M.E. Penny Baker. So I have the PDF version for this book. I still think it's a good book. So it goes through what is meditation, aids to meditation, body, mind, and soul, and then ideals and affirmations, the 7 spiritual centers again, our experiences when we meditate, and group meditation, the warnings, greater talent and decisions. The meditation will help us with that, even with spiritual growth, psychic development, healing, and then a summary again. So another good book. Still more. This is a very good book as well by Harry Glover. So I read a bit of this for the last couple of weeks. And if you notice, they also have similar sort of topics. Why meditate, the energies, when how the energies flow through the body, setting an ideal. Yeah.
That's one that I'm not familiar with, this Harry Glover book.
Okay.
I've heard the name of it, but I'm not familiar with it much at all.
Yeah. And then this is the one that probably this could be our main one, because it's very, very detailed creative meditation.
Very practical. There's practical things to do within it.
Yeah, so we're probably going to spend most of the time on this book, doing all the exercises and yeah, because yeah, I think it was written in 1990, so that's 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was 1990.
So if you look here, part 1 is what it does is focusing on. So I think the purpose of this book is for inner peace, and what's define what that desirable state. So if you have inner peace, then you don't need to read this book.
Oh, I'd love to meet someone who has inner peace.
Yeah. So why meditation may be the perfect tool for reaching that state. Yeah. So if you see number 1, sling and arrows of, so that's everybody has slings and arrows flying towards them, all the little things, and they do add up. So I think that was why he named it Sling and Arrows. I think it's based on Shakespeare, some say.
Hamlet.
Yeah, Hamlet, that's it. Yeah. So he does quote that, and so then he numbers chapter 2 is what he's trying to define what inner peace is and what meditation does. And then part 2, he's sort of building blocks from which you can experimentally develop a meditation process suited to your own needs, interests, and lifestyle. So he's trying to, cover everybody. So he goes through, there's 2, 4, 6 chapters. It's a very good book. I think it's very detailed. You could just about run a course on this book. And I would enjoy doing the course. So we're probably the ones that do it.
So what you're suggesting is that this book would sort of constitute something of a basis for our meetings.
Yes. So my thinking was, instead of us reading the whole book, someone can do a presentation, either chapter per chapter, or highlight, the points. So that way we don't have to. If we read the book, it's going to take us years, or books. So I'm thinking, more presentation, so that way it's more enjoyable, especially for newcomers as well who's not going to spend trying to read the whole book. And it'll be good for us as well, whoever's going to present it.
It's much more shareable, isn't it? Because people can watch, if people join us at a different stage through, they can catch up by watching the presentations.
Yes, so if we do post the presentation, it's going to be helpful for everybody. We're all going to be up. So we're all basically learning and sharing, it's there's nobody is an expert, but I'm hoping by the end of our process, we're all going to be up to a certain level.
Yeah.
Sharing and learning, or learning.
2 heads are always better than 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can help each other and just build. Because what I've done as well, I've converted it into text format. So you can, I'll give you the text as well in text format, so you can quickly just
read it. Yep.
Read it and copy and paste and cut off, all the extra, and just because some parts are, like personal stories, and that you could just summarize it in a few sentences, but focus on the main points. And then we get an idea of each chapter, okay, now we don't have to, especially with our new generation, we're the TikTok age, our sort of attention span only is a few seconds. And if you're bored, you're not going to bother reading the whole book. So I'm going to try to make it more exciting.
Summarizing makes sense.
Yeah. And summarizing it helps. So, but even so, if we do decide to read the book, we have an idea what it's all about. So that was my sort of thinking. But the main one is that we actually we still do the actual meditation once a week, and then it's up to each individual to do daily, how they want to do it. But we meet once a week and do presentation and so we can have our own format to follow. So I was thinking of 3 sections, the actual meditation period, so it might take 10-15 minutes, and then the presentation, so whoever how many numbers, that would take another half an hour, and then discussion at the end, and that's it. But the hard it is someone creating the presentations during the week. So, but I can help, and this is part 3, taking charge of your life. Activities for taking greater control of your circumstances or life through self-guidance, self-healing, attunement, and serving the cause of peace in the world. So that's the goal, spreading peace. So if you have inner peace, then you can extend it to everyone. So by the end of this book, we'll be spreading peace all over the world.
And just about that meditation at the beginning, like when we have like the opening session meditation. Yep. I was just wondering, what were you thinking about that? Because what sort of format would that take?
The same format that we did do in the study group.
Okay.
So there's no difference.
Okay.
Because that way, when we do it, everybody can follow through, and then have that moment of silence, and then so whoever's new could just learn how to meditate and maybe copy that format in their study groups, so they have an idea what to do,
Yeah. No, it's perfect, that format of the the head and neck exercises and the breathing, and then the prayer for protection.
Yeah. So all that, and then focus on the affirmation, and then maybe you can include the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
Well, and it's open.
Yeah.
And then there's another book. This Mark Thurston book. It could end as a good summary of the whole universal way of meditation. And so he summarizes everything. And
I like him. He's a great writer. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so the inner power of silence. So so I have this in PDF format as well and in text. So we could quickly, go through it in present. So the exciting part for me is the presentation. The short presentations, not long, just short, focused on a certain chapter or topic. And hopefully more than one will be presenting every Sunday. But I can help with the putting it together, so we don't, because we don't want to spend too much of our time, like the whole week stressing.
How long would you suggest should the presentation be, Keith?
10 minutes.
Okay,
It's 10 minutes will cover a lot in summary.
right.
We're not trying to read the whole, present the whole chapter, just in summary or the main points. And then you have an idea what each chapter is about.
Mm.
So I'm hoping all these books here, it could take weeks, but by say maybe 15 weeks, 20 weeks
Mm.
to a year. But and then I was thinking, once all these, so this is the format that our format is meditation session, then a presentation, then discussion. Then we end it, and then so this is like I copied this from one of the books. We can use this, so we can adjust it. It's got the head and neck exercise, number 3, the chart. We can try a chart because Russell Barry did a chart once, so it is exciting, just to
You
experiment.
want to scare everyone else away.
Yeah. I
I like that. I love the chants. I think
yeah.
they're good.
If
We
you,
should include them.
if you go really deeply into it and go,
You see, even that makes you sort of never, for people who's never heard it before, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
a real strong vibration in that.
yeah. I mean, when we do it all together, it's actually really, really powerful.
Yeah.
The computers would levitate up off the table.
That's a great idea to include that. I think that's
Yeah.
a fantastic idea. Mm.
Yeah, so if you see this, we could use then we do number 5, and then silence number 6, and then the main part at the end is we pray for others. So that's the main purpose of our meditation, is to pray for others, and
Mm.
pray for whoever we want to release the energy to others at the end.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the order of the books, Keith, have you thought about, like, you're suggesting that we focus a fair bit on the main one, and as well then work through, so each of the other ones, some of them are not that big, so we could
Yeah.
so in the order you put them there, maybe?
Yeah, I've sort of studied all of them. That's why I put it in that order, but I'm open to the suggestions, and and
Fine.
but I'm hoping by the end of this meditation group study that we understand we become sort of master meditators, or not master, but we have a very good foundation that we can build on.
Mm.
No longer novices.
Yeah, we won't be novices anymore. So whoever does this, we're all sort of beginners to start off with, but at the end of the weekly group study, we will all be in a certain level.
Mm. Fantastic.
Yeah, and we can focus as well, because if we don't do this, we'll always be stuck in, not sure, we're doing sort of drifting here, there. But if we focus, we'll get somewhere, and then we'll share it as well. Yeah, but open to everybody, because you never know, people who are keen to do presentation, we invite. So the topics, we'll cover all these books. Why do we meditate, and is meditation necessary? And the 7 spiritual centers, all the books cover those 7 spiritual centers. Even the Bible, Book of Revelation, has the 7 spiritual centers. So that's very important.
Yep.
And and movement of energy, I don't know. I haven't had any energy movement yet, so maybe by the end someone will share some experience of energy moving around the body. And we understand the difference between prayer and meditation. I'm still not too sure about the difference. So I'm hoping we have a clearer understanding at the end of what the difference is.
I've come across the definition of prayer and meditation as prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God.
Yeah, that's a good,
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we're focusing to God when we're sort of talking to Him and our thoughts, and asking and thanking Him and all that, and then we remain silent and listen for the inner voice or answers. That could be it. So maybe we'll have a deeper understanding at the end. The healing part, that was a goal of that healing group. And I don't know if they became healers, but maybe I think the healing part was more when they did prayers for others, that prayer list. I think, Russell, you have a prayer group, healing.
Yeah, Lisa's in that same prayer group as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's been going since the mid-1970s.
Yeah. So I don't know if we will end up having a healing group like that, or we can refer the names to that group. But I think, so then we could discuss other topics once these talks run out.
Great. Really good.
Yeah, so something exciting to look forward to learn, if we do it every week. I think once you learn all this, I don't know whether you go to a more advanced course or look further into other, or we just I don't know.
I think that there are even more resources anyway. Like, you remember I watched the Thomas Casey meditation series of 12 videos?
Yeah,
what I really think will happen is that we'll find that these books cover that.
Yeah.
That's what I expect. I'm imagining, that we'll see some of that same set of ideas coming up, because he does also mention some of the things we've already mentioned, such as the head and neck exercises, the alternate nostril breathing, the way and using the chanting. So he covers a lot of these things. So it'll be interesting to see, how that evolves, to comparing it, because I think that's a pretty comprehensive course. I thought it was very good. It's like 12 short videos, really. Yeah.
So we can experiment and use all the breathing exercises, but we've done them all in the study group, I think.
Yeah, we have.
So we do it every week. So that can be part of the first part, the meditation part. We can introduce anything.
At the outset, we probably need to actually, rather than just say, okay, we're about to meditate, we're going to do the head, neck and breathing exercises, etc. Did you want me to just explain where that came from and why we do it? Prayer protection and all of that, that the actual format of the meditation at the beginning of our meetings, where that came from and why it's important.
Sounds good.
because as I say, I was introduced to that in 1978. So doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Because some, some of them say you can like use the chanting throughout the whole period of your meditation. Say you're meditating for 15 or 20 minutes, you could continue to use the chanting, or else you could just use the chanting at the beginning and then have a silent meditation. Which do you like to do?
Look, I know of people that listen to music or gongs or chimes or something like that while they're meditating. I prefer to have a silent meditation. And if I'm going to do anything for attunement, like chant or like burning incense or something like that, I'd prefer to just have it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then let go of it and just go into the silence, because the important thing about the silence is that you're allowing God to speak to you through that attunement. And if there's anything there that might interfere with that process, like music or gongs or something like that, it's not allowing you to just focus on attuning to God.
Okay, that makes good sense. Yeah.
But that's, once again, everything that's being talked about in this group will be one person's personal experience. And as we know from what EDGAR CAYCE had to say, every reading was tailored for each person, because everyone has different requirements, different needs, different ways. And I heard it once said, I don't think Casey said it, but there's as many ways of meditating as there are people on this planet.
Wow. That's amazing.
Basically, we all meditate differently and have different needs with meditation.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one thing to know all this information, but when I participated in our study group, the experience part was so good for me. Like every week when we went through the whole process, it sort of built up something for me personally. Like, so if anybody participates in our group who are new, when they experience it, it's actually be good for them,